Hey guys, welcome back to On the Hook. Today we're taking our Vermillion Snapper and we're gonna turn it into a really delicious imperial topping with shrimp, crab, and scallops, a little Parmesan, a little balsamic. I can't wait to get cooking. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Dylan Foster and I love seafood. I've been in the Myrtle Beach area for more than 15 years, and since then, my life has revolved around seafood. From cooking and catching it to serving and selling it, I've done just about everything you can do in this industry. So come and join me as we tour the places, faces, and tales of Myrtle Beach seafood. This is On the Hook.
For our imperial topping, we're gonna get that started first before we work with our fish, because the fish is a super thin fillet. It's only gonna take a couple minutes, so let's get our topping ready to go first and foremost. The base of our topping, a little sweet onion here. So we're gonna do a nice fine mince on this onion. We're not gonna want big chunks of onion in the topping, just finely minced. So I'm gonna go ahead and mince up this onion. You've watched us do it before. Really sharp knife. And now we'll just get a really fine mince. On that onion. There we go, we can set this aside. We'll use that later in some stock. So there is our onion. Let's turn around here, head over here to our stove so we can get cooking. We'll turn our fire up to about medium-high heat. We're gonna start the sauce with a little bit of sauteing grade olive oil, right? Because this oil is going to be an integral part of our finished product, our sauce, I'm gonna use an olive oil. For the fish later down the road, I'm only gonna use a vegetable oil, but I'll explain that then when we get there. For this, I want the flavor of the olive oil. I'm not so worried about the food sticking because we're in a lower heat. So I'm gonna go with an olive oil for this. So we'll start with the olive oil there. A tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half. And start that working. We're gonna take our minced onions that we just chopped, and we're gonna add those to the pan first. There we go, already starting to sizzle. That sound is what we're looking for. Again, not a super high heat. We just want to start sauteing and, oh boy. There we go. So those are going to really start to sweat down, become really translucent. The sweetness is going to start coming out. Everything's going to mellow out, get really happy together in the pan. And as that's working, let's get cleaning our scallops and our shrimp. So here we have some dry New England scallops. We're gonna clean off that abductor muscle. So all scallops have these little muscle on the side of them that keeps that shell opening and closing. So we're gonna make sure we clean that off. Check our onions back here, looking good. There we go. Beautiful, really starting to get translucent. We're gonna finish cleaning up some of these scallops. We'll use about 4, maybe 5 scallops. We like scallops. I don't know about you, scallops are one of my favorite seafood. Unfortunately, we don't have them locally, but I still love them. And now some shrimp. These are local shrimp. I've already cleaned these shrimp, meaning I've shelled them, I've deveined them, and I popped the tail off of these shrimp already. So we're gonna go ahead and start chopping these up. We don't want them to be super finely minced, but we do want them to be small because we do want this imperial topping to be kind of more of a sauce, kind of a thick chutney almost. Oh yeah, look at these onions. Get nice and golden brown on the edges, not burning, just getting them nice and golden brown. And because we gave a really fine mince, they're gonna really start to disappear. So shrimp, nice and chopped up. We're gonna start the imperial topping with these chopped shrimp. So they're gonna go right in here with the onions. Right in there with the onions. Start working them around. And everything now is gonna happen really quickly. Seafood in general cooks really quickly, but shrimp and scallops all work really fast. And we do not want to overcook them. So we gotta be careful about our heat. We're gonna watch it. I'm actually gonna turn it down a touch and slide it off the heat as we add our scallops. So the scallops, just like we did the shrimp, chop up our scallops. Really rough. We don't need minced scallop in there. We want some nice chunks of scallop because we love them. So in go the scallops with our shrimp. And we're just gonna slowly start sauteing those together. The shrimp, the scallops, the onions, the olive oil. We're gonna now add, and the heat is really low, guys, really low heat. Now I'm gonna add some garlic. And you know me, I'm using the already minced garlic for these dishes. Obviously, fresh garlic is great if you've got the time to do it, but for me, and probably for your house, you already got the minced stuff there in the old refrigerator, so go ahead and use it. It'll still be delicious, I promise you. All right, so shrimp, scallops, looking close. I'm actually gonna turn that down just a little bit more. Now we're going to add some heavy cream. We want to start thickening up this dish and bringing it together. So we're going to take our heavy cream, and slowly start bringing this in. And now I'm actually going to season the topping as well. So I'm going to add some of our seasoning here. This is our house citrus herb, just a house blend that we do here at my shop. You can get it on TucsonSeafood.com, or if you have another all-purpose seafood seasoning that you like to use at your house, that is perfectly fine as well. So that heavy cream back here on the heat is now going to start thickening this imperial topping up. I'm going to add a little bit more heavy cream and a touch more seasoning because I just thinned it out with the heavy cream. We got to make sure we're still hitting all of the flavor notes. So thin it out with more heavy cream, add more seasoning, okay? Looking good, smelling good. I'm loving this. Now we're gonna add some crab cakes. I'm from Maryland. I love a good crab cake. We make a good crab cake. The key to a good crab cake, in my opinion, is all lump meat, very little filler, zero bread. We actually use saltine crackers. Shh, don't tell anybody. But that's what we do. There's no bread in a real crab cake, in my opinion. So I'm gonna break up this crab cake and put it in. Just kind of rough it all up in there. Let's add a little more. We like crab today. And for me, the crab cake's gonna do a couple different things. It's gonna add the crab and add the flavor, but it's also going to help add a little bit more seasoning and a little bit more body with all of the ingredients and flavor already in the crab meat or in the crab cake. It's kind of a head start, kind of a leg up. And we all like a head start or a leg up when we're cooking. We like things to be nice and easy. And look how quick that's thickening up. Look at this. Oh, it's beautiful. You see those shrimp and those scallops. Now that crab cake is just thickening up that. Oh boy, I wish you guys could smell it. It's smelling so good. Let's turn it down a little bit more. We don't want to overcook it. We don't want to over thicken it before we get our fish ready to go. So I'm actually going to pull that off to the side, change places here, and now we're going to start working our fillets and getting our fillets ready to cook. So here we have our Vermillion Snapper fillets that we cut and cleaned on the previous episode. Again, if you missed that, go back, check that out. Lots of cool tips and tricks there. Here's our skinless, boneless Vermillion Snapper fillet. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 here. We're gonna now season pretty nicely the top of these fillets. I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to fit all 4 in the pan, but we're definitely going to get them ready to go just in case. I've got my pan turned on about medium high heat. And now we're just gonna lightly dust the top of these again with this citrus herb seasoning or kind of an all-purpose seafood seasoning. There we go, nice and seasoned. We don't wanna make sure, we don't wanna over season it, but we definitely don't wanna under season it. For me, that's kind of where I like to go with it. Kind of a nice even coat. And I'm only gonna season the top side. I'm not gonna season the bottom side because this fish is so thin, it's gonna only really cook on one side. We're gonna cook it in the pan like this. So we want a nice crust on this side, and that crust is gonna soak up that seasoning and be a really nice, flavorful bite at the end. So pan is working nice. I got a really large, it's a 14-inch heavy bottom stainless steel pan that is gonna transfer the heat really nicely. Nice, flat, clean surface to get a nice, good sear on those fish. And now I'm gonna use a vegetable oil. Vegetable oil is great for high heat application like this. It's not gonna break down, it's not gonna burn, your fish isn't gonna stick to the pan very easily. Vegetable oil is my go-to oil for this application. Anytime, in my opinion, anytime that the oil is, the only job of the oil is to transfer the heat from the pan, from the fire to the pan to the protein, I'm gonna use a vegetable oil. It's just a little easier, you're gonna have better results all around. So that's my go-to there. You can use olive oil, but you just have to be a little bit more careful. So that's gonna get nice and hot. You're gonna start to see it ripple. We don't necessarily need to see it smoking, but it is gonna start to kind of move itself in the pan. You kind of have a nice shimmer, a nice sheen going. But the real test, what you're really looking for is the sound. So everybody get real quiet. And now let's listen. We're listening for a really high sizzle, like a tss. That's what we want to hear. Listen. Yeah, I think we're ready. I think we're ready. So fish is gonna go down and I'm gonna start moving it around once it's in that pan because I wanna create a nice barrier of oil between the oil and the fish to get a really nice crust. So the other fish coming over here. Here we go, fish going in. Start that shimmy shake. Gonna create that barrier so those fillets don't stick. We go one more. Notice I'm filleting it away from myself. That way my hands aren't gonna get splattered when it does in turn splatter. And I think we're gonna leave it at 3. I don't wanna overcrowd my pan. We're gonna leave it at 3 fillets there, just so we don't overcrowd. We never wanna overcrowd. Overcrowding the pan is gonna make it hard to flip, A. B, it's gonna lower the heat of that pan more than we want. And already that fish is smelling great with the seasoning there, and that crust, as you can already see, is forming on some of these fillets. You can already see the crust forming there. Keep it moving. It's going to keep a nice lubricated surface so we're not sticking. And now we've got just enough time to finish our imperial topping. So we crank the heat back up here. We're going to let this come back up to temperature. We're going to give it a little taste first to see how we're doing with the seasoning. Always be tasting as you're going. We're gonna do a little quick taste here, get a little bit of everything. It's also one of the best parts of being a chef. Guys, this is gonna be so good. All right, back up the temperature, happens really quickly. I am gonna add a little bit more seasoning here, just a touch. This one actually is our house seasoning. This has a little bit of Old Bay in it as well. So that's gonna act really nicely with our crab cakes. Let's get our fish turned here. Fish coming around at you. You can start to see that nice crust. Oh boy. All right, Kyle, zoom in here. Check out this fish. You can see, guys, you can watch the fish kind of cooking up through. You can watch the color change from the bottom all the way through the fillet. And you can see it's just this tiny little bit here that still needs to cook. So that's beautiful. We're gonna go ahead and flip the smallest one. And look at that color. Oh man, look at that golden brown. Here we go. 2, now 3. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. Kill the heat. Let that just rest in that pan. It's gonna finish nicely. Topping, very close. We're gonna add the last bit of finishing touch to our topping is some fresh Parmesan cheese. Everybody's favorite. Here we go. It's a Parmesan snowstorm. It's the only kind of snowstorms we like here at the beach. Nobody likes snow at the beach, but a Parmesan snowstorm, that I can get behind. There we go. Beautiful. Looking good. Give that one final little stir. We're gonna add a little bit of green onion for a little final garnish. Scallion, green onion. You could use chives for this. You could use dried parsley. If you didn't have anything fresh, that would all be fine. So we're just gonna get really fine, really fine little circles. It's gonna add a little hint, a little kick of fresh onion flavor, as well as a really beautiful green pop that we will love. So in goes our garnish. Look at that, it just finishes it off so nicely. That beautiful green color in there. And here we go. That's ready, that's ready, that's ready. Let's get plating. And here's our beautiful white platter. And here is our fillets. So let's throw our fillets up there. Here we go. Fillet number one. Got this, oh man, it's falling apart. Look at this. Fillet one. That golden brown crust on that beautiful snapper. Fillet two. Oh, look at that. It's just, listen, can you hear that? Oh man, it's just such a beautiful crust. I'm looking forward to lunch. All right, here's our topping. Shrimp, scallops, crab meat, all the good stuff. We're gonna slightly spoon some of this topping right down here onto this fish. Now this is not a light summertime dish. This dish is a little heavy with the shrimp and the crab and the cream and the scallops, but it's okay. Winter's coming. Not all seafood has to be light. Sometimes we love a good stick to your ribs meal. Beautiful. So there's our Imperial. We're gonna drizzle with a little bit of extra, whoa, dropped an oil bottle. A little bit of extra virgin olive oil there. Really pretty on the plate. And the last little bit of fresh green from our scallions. Oh man, it smells so good, guys. A little bit more Parmesan, why not? I could hear you guys thinking, put more Parmesan, he needs more Parmesan. And you're right. So let's just, a little bit of snowstorm again, a little dusting there. Fresh Parmesan, pop, 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 pop. Looking good. Top it with the last little bit of our green. Little green color there. Beautiful. Looking great, guys. Check that out. Local Vermillion Snapper, hand seared with a really rich and uber delicious shrimp, scallop, and crab Imperial topping. That right there is the lunch of champions, or at least lunch ready for anybody here on the Grand Strand. And that's why they call it the seafood capital of the world, because we're blessed to have great seafood just like this. But that's enough out of me. You've heard me talk enough. Let's eat. And I am crazy excited for this. I'm gonna dig right in here. I'm gonna take this little piece right here and just that crust. Look at the crust on that fish. Oh man, you see that? Just amazing. That golden brown caramelized, oh boy. Take a little bit of our topping, get some shrimp, get some crab, get some scallops in there, and I'm going in. Guys, I'm crazy biased, but that is so good. Snapper, fresh, bright, a little mild, a little sweet, awesome. And because it's so sustainable, we know that we're doing a good thing for our environment and our local fishermen while we're eating it. And then that topping, the crab, the shrimp, the scallops, the decadence, the deliciousness, all good. Wrapped up into a really beautiful, really quick, really simple package. Beautiful. And I can't wait for you guys to share your stories of this dish when you make it at home. I've been seeing on the comments, people are loving these videos, loving the recipes that we're doing. So please, when you make this recipe at home, add a picture, send a comment. We'd love to hear your feedback and see what you get to do there at home. Anyway, guys, this is On the Hook. Make sure you like and subscribe those videos so you never miss a bite. And we'll see you guys next time here on The Hook. Enjoy.
Beach easy.